This thing is always taken for granted, but it's a serious, serious issue in our midst. Now, the issue of gender-based violence. Today, we are marking the end of 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. And when we talk of that, all the time, our minds run in issues of women and girls. I know at some stage, maybe this thing will be revised. Gender-based violence is not only violence against women and girls. It is also against women. And I want you to think of it this way. It is not always the men who perpetuate the gender-based violence, but also women, also among their fellow women. And also against some men, few of them, because men are strong. Today, we officially opened that center that deals with issues of women's rights, issues of illnesses and diseases, different types of diseases. We are lucky. The wellness center that was opened today, we are lucky here, because this is the first one I've had in these areas. Thank you very much, the Minister for Health, who made it possible, and that it should be built in this place. It means it is easier for anybody with a problem to walk in. The biggest problem that most girls and women have is that they don't know who to turn to. They don't know where to go. They are scared of being seen as they go to these places. Sometimes they are scared. Sometimes they are too young even to know that they have to report. They are ignorant. Violence is done not only to mature women, young girls, but I've noticed in the last few days I've been home here, I noticed even very old women. I know very many old women, I met some, who have run away from their homes because nobody cares for them and because nobody wants them in their old age to stay in their home. They are looking for safe areas, and most of the time they run into churches to go and take refuge in those churches. And these are groups that people don't remember, people don't think about them. I know many girls, young girls, teenagers, when they come pregnant, everybody turns against them. The parents turn against them, chases them away. The father is hostile. The mother doesn't know what to do. Doesn't know how to do, how to hide her child. It makes them worse. And these are the cases that they run away, and when they run away, you don't know what happens to them. Sometimes they end up committing suicide. We must take care of them. But the best thing is to teach them not to get pregnant when they are young, when they are not ready to get pregnant. I run a program called Linda Kesho. Linda Kesho means protect. Let's protect our tomorrow. And our tomorrow are these young people. Tomorrow are you young people who are here. Linda Kesho program deals with campaign against teenage pregnancies and early marriages. In the book of Ecclesiastes, it says, there is time for everything. When you are still a young person, it is not your turn to start making families, experimenting with your body, getting pregnant at that early stage. And particularly, I've seen cases where young people, a young girl, 13, 14, and a classmate, a young boy, 14, they are becoming parents. They know nothing. Desist from that. A time will come and we want to take you to that marriage when you are ready. Let's talk to the leadership, including the political leaderships. I would have loved to see the MCAs, particularly those women MCAs. I would have loved to see them here. Because they're the people that when things happen, you run to. So next time, let's involve many more people, other than the people who are already converted. And then let's have small groups, like club in the villages, so that they can also talk to one another, involve one another as they talk.
One of the facts that exist is that violence against women and girls is the most pervasive human rights violation in the world. It's not just in Siaya, it's not just in Kenya. And that, of course, has implications, not just for the life of our nation, the life of our county, but also for equality across the globe. Now, the statistics that were read to us by the representative of the Kenya Red Cross are very grim. I just wanted to add that when you also, because many people here have spoken about gender-based violence, and this means also we have to pay attention to violence against boys and men, as our CEC for Education referenced. 18% of all reported cases in Kenya happen to be violence that is reported by young men. And mainly young men. The old men, they fear reporting because of stigma. So we are going to speak out on everybody's behalf and say that we have to end this gender-based violence. We can speak out and speak up. Recently, we opened the Dr. Ida Odinga Center for Excellence in Sigomre, and the young children there had this refrain which I want to repeat to you, and they kept saying, "Okwa biling, okwa biling." Okwa biling means what? Atuta nyama okwa biling. You're supposed to say it back to me. Okwa biling? Yes, atuta nyamaza. So that is one of the actions that we can really take in our community. And as you can see on that poster of the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, it says there, stand up for someone's rights today. It doesn't have to be you. And there's this notion that we are protecting our women, our girls, our sisters. No, girls have their own rights as human beings. Women are not your women. They are women because they are human beings. So we are going to speak up for their rights because they are whole and they are human. So that's one action we can take. The other action, which I think has come up, we keep talking about teenage pregnancies and focusing on adolescent girls. These girls did not make themselves pregnant, right? So who is on the other side of that teenage pregnancy? It's either some old men or some young men or some, their age mates. So we also need to focus on those people. So if our issue is teenage pregnancy, we can't focus on half the issue. It has to be the whole issue. So we have to push forward on these things. There are many things that I think Bondo is leading us in, and the other sub-counties, we are feeling a little bit like stepchildren. We will step up. We will look for more assistance. Our ministers are here, so we'll set up this kind of response centers and learning centers across the whole of Siaya, so that we can see how to work across our county to ensure that we are offering better response services across the county. I mean, there are many actions, but I think those three are important.